yes! Ryan has done me a solid here. I was so excited about it.
Hey, what's going on? This is Ryan Coogler, and I'm here on Entertainment Weekly's Around the Table. And I had the pleasure of being here with my beautiful cast of Black Panther, Wakanda Forever.
Only the most broken people can be great leaders.
It was helpful that we were honoring someone who we came to know through the work. When I think about Chad, I do think about balance. He was exceptionally gifted at knowing when enough was enough, you know, and how to keep everybody happy, how to keep us all balanced. For me as a director, working with him, he was very much like having like a coach on the field. You know, like he was a sports term. On days where I was working with him, I knew those days would go great. You know, because he would bring balance to the set. In terms of the filmmaking, on the first Panther, we had to balance a lot. We had to balance all of our themes we were working with, and this idea of like cultural representation, even though it was a fictional culture, you know, and none of that stuff came easy. You know, like we were constantly working. Like every day, you know, and so we had a lot of practice. So when it came to this film, you know, that was really the rhythm of it. You know, we knew Chad through the work of making Black Panther, so making another Black Panther to honor him, you know, just by showing up and respecting each other and going deep with each one of our individual tasks, it felt like we were honoring him through that, you know, and even with bringing in Namor and Natalia Camille, I had spoken with Chad about that aspect of the script, and he was really excited. You know, that was something he was fired up about. I remember we were at a restaurant in Los Feliz. First time you know, we talked about possibly having like Indigenous American representation in the film, and he just like got the biggest smile. He's like, oh, they never gonna see this coming, you know, like it's awesome, you know, like it was one of those things where we're just doing the work of it, and not to say that it was easy. I had great collaborators, you know, in front of the camera and behind it. And we worked, man. Like it was some days where like the actors would come and say, hey, this ain't right. You know, like we need more of this or less of that. You know what I'm saying? And we would execute. But I don't know, Tish, like what do you think?
I feel like the beginning of the process needed to be with someone that continued that balance. And I feel like, Ryan, you balanced out all of what we were feeling, because it was so raw to come back into the world that we know and love, the characters that we know and love without our brother, and just to give us that anchoring that we needed to know that this is gonna be okay, you know, and just diving into that world, man. It's again another opportunity to inspire, another opportunity to shed light on issues, on a culture that's been hidden. You know, I've learned so much in the discovery of the beautiful culture of Indigenous people. So to come in and have Ryan just balance everything out, it really helped. And yeah, it was such a collaborative process, spiritually and with regards to what we needed for the script and what we needed for the characters. Spiritually, we would collaborate on how we would heal together. There's moments on set where Ryan just has to look at me once. He's like, you need 5? I'm like, yup. All right, cool. It's hitting you today? I'm like, yup. It's like, you can feel his presence? Yup. All right, cool. Take 5. And then other days, it's like collaborating on the script. It's like, okay, cool. Like, how do we navigate all of these arcs? How do we navigate all of the multitude of characters and make it one? And I just admired him each day, you know, and how he balanced it all out with grace. With grace. So it feels beautiful to be back with this team and to do something that's honorable.
His people did not call him general or king. They called him Kukulkan, the feather serpent god. killing him will risk eternal war.
He's coming for the surface world.
You know, you speak of the balance between the story and the action. It is astounding that we were able to talk about something so deep like grief, but also deliver on like an action-packed adventure as well. And I tend to veer towards the dramatic side of things. Honest to God, like what is the truth about what will be happening in this moment? And I remember one day on set, am I ruining everything? No, I'm not. I have to check myself. well, no, my character goes into the water. We know that much, right? I can say that, right?
Everybody here does.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So
We all dip into that water.
Multiple times.
there was a scene where my character dives into the water, and it was set up in a way where Ryan wanted me to stand in a specific spot and dive, and I was like, well, I would never do that. I would be this close to the water in order to dive. And Ryan just leans in and says, it's a big movie. And I was like, okay, fine, all right, you know. So like that's how you find the balance. There's like some things that are just improbable that have to happen in a Marvel movie. And I was like, okay, I got it. I'm not gonna argue with that anymore. It is a big movie.
It's a big movie.
Ryan walks you through it like in a conversation long before you actually get the script. So I did have an idea of the journey, and you know, reading it, you know, it was definitely the power, the epic nature of the narrative, to see it all on the page and to see this new world come to pass was extremely, you know, was very, very thrilling. And also, you know, you see the work ahead, you know, you see, okay, throw out the ice cream, you know, but you're just seeing all the work ahead in terms of how you have to prepare, you know, to, you know, get and condition yourself to meet what was very clear we needed to do. And also, you know, the beauty of seeing how it was really intertwined in this narrative, grief and loss and healing, and within that, the honoring of Chadwick, which was really, it was a great comfort to see that on the page.
We know what you whisper. They have lost their protector. Now is our time to strike.
Well, of course, I was nervous the first day, but once I stepped into the set, it was Angela, Dominique, you. That very first day, I felt so welcome. You know, it was like, oh, I'm nervous. I'm still nervous right now. But that moment with that people, it was so magical. I was on wires, I remember. I felt like a piñata. In a weird way, it made me feel more comfortable. All of them, you know, every member of the crew and the cast, they were given the 100%. They gave the 100% to the project. It's fantastic. It's magical. You know what I mean? Because you have this big actresses, you know, this, for me, I mean, I admire Angela. It's a goddess. So she was there and just looking at me, you know, it was like, hey, come on, everything's okay. You are safe. You are safe in this moment, in this place. So it's easier to go, you know, through all the movie, you know, when you are working with them. And then days later, maybe a couple of months later, I was working with this fantastic woman here. She was so helpful. She was so, you know, it felt like a hug, like a big hug. And she was looking at me all the time. English is not my first language, so I forget some lines or the pronunciation wasn't clear. And she was just looking at me and saying, keep going. I'm here for you. It was like a guide, you know what I mean? That guidance is like, oh, great. So you can play, you know, in the multiple meanings of that word that I love in English, play. You can play like a child, you know, and it's so fun. So for me, the experience to be with these people sharing that set, and especially, you know, I've never met Chadwick, but be part of that tribute, an extraordinary experience and an extraordinary honor, and because he was so meaningful for all of us in Latin America. It was the same meaning. It's, we got it, you know, we finally, all of us, we are there. We're part of that, you know, it feels like one of us. Then I went to the set and I was one of them, you know?
To me, it was crazy because I spent a lot of time training for the character. And my first day, I had an action scene, and I feel very excited because I'm very competitive.
Oh, yeah.
To me, it was like, oh my God, this is exciting. But at the other side, it was like, oh my God, I don't know how to do this. And I feel so nervous, and it's like, oh my God, I don't know anything. Yeah, and I take a minute with myself, and what to say. Hey, you know what do you need to do about the scene. So trust in the language. You know the cinematographic language. So you know the action. You know what means rolling. You know these little things. So let it go your body and trust in your mind and trust in these words. And to me, in my mind, it's just like action. And it's like, okay, my body is a mess, but my mind is just trusting in the action, in the rolling, It's like, oh my God, this is amazing. And of course, I think I could learn it very fast because of you, because this team. Because you are very patient with me, with the language, with my knowledge about this new world, because it's completely different when you make some things outside or in my country, made a superhero movie. It's huge. It's like, oh my God, I don't want to make a mistake. Yeah. So was crazy for me the first day.
Oh man, my very first day, it was not a shooting day. I just got to the studios and I was meeting everyone in every apartment. I walk into the hair trailer, and then I met Camille, and then she was walking me through, what are we gonna do about the hair, and then she asked me, "You want to meet Winston? He's right there in the corner." I was like, "Yeah." So she takes me to Winston, and then I meet Winston. I'm really nervous. I'm like, "This is Winston," and he was very welcoming. It just felt like he just gave me a hug with his language. And one of the things that I remember the most, he was like, "Listen, you're gonna read the script, you're gonna read the directions, you're gonna think you know what it's gonna look like, but when you see it, you're gonna be like, this is a whole different movie." And when we saw it, I was like, wow, this is. I had no idea it was gonna look like this. So that was a very nice memory that I had from that day. And then I didn't see my costume, and I walk into my trailer, and then I see this very tiny Speedo.
I know, buddy. I know. Hello, this is a therapy group.
I had not seen the full costume, and I was like, "Is there more?" And yes,
There's a little more.
You saw an underwater empire.
Yes, but these people are dangerous.
There is a new world power at play.
Are you an ally or an enemy?
When I read the script and I got to the Spanish bit, I was like, yes! Ryan has done me a solid here. I was so excited about it. I mean, it's a gift. I've always wanted to work in Spanish, and never in my wildest dreams did I imagine that opportunity would come in Black Panther, And for me, this film represents different sides of my heritage, you know, being born in Mexico and having that Mesoamerican culture represented. It's something that's very close to me, and so for Nakia to have that opportunity to cross over and touch that world, it was a gift. It was just a straight gift, and I was very, very happy to do it. Came with other challenges that I wasn't expecting, that I will not speak about because I don't want to ruin it for people. I love the fact that that is one of Nakia's superpowers, is multilingualism.
Yeah, I always thought that was a very cool thing from the last movie with that she spoke Korean in it. I always thought that was like, never seen this before.
Yeah.
I like the expansion of that, and the fact that you already speak Spanish fluently.
Yeah, for me it was easier. I was like, phew, this time Ryan has brought it a little closer. That Korean was not easy. But he had other things up his sleeve, didn't he?
They all have like incredible gifts, like unique, like superpowers almost, you know, to all of them. Like my Belle talks about how competitive she is, like on her audition tape. Like she was speaking Nahuatl, she did a poem in Nahuatl, and then and I was like, oh, that's what's up, this is dope. In the next clip, she was riding a horse through a river. No saddle, no nothing, just like boom through the river. I was like, oh yeah, I think we found her, you know.
You think?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's a water movie, and like that was one of the things we talk about. It's like, yo, we're gonna have black and brown people in this water, and Danai was like, let's go, cause she was a competitive swimmer for all of her life. So like we would do the water test, and then they'd be like, all right, action. Danai just be like across the tank, like you know what I'm saying? Like, man, is that it? That's all y'all got?
No, I wanted to swim more.
She was like, Ryan, man, you gotta, you know, Danai very intense. She's like, hey, Ryan, I gotta swim in this movie. You gotta let me show these young girls, man, how we can do it. And I'm like, nah, we gonna get your swimming done. We gonna have it. You promised me. I'm like, yeah. And then we shot it, man. On that day, she was so happy. Like she was just smiling from like ear to ear. Like, I get to swim today, man. Like, and I'm telling the cameraman, hey, yo, be ready, bro. Back up. like
She's coming.
She gonna come right at you like a shark, bro. Like back, you know. But and you know, this one got a lot of just spiritual depth. It's like almost like a paradox, because she a slight person, but like to know she a giant, you know what I mean? Like that, it just goes deep, and this was right for her, you know. Like, and I'm thankful that I was there to catch it as a filmmaker, you know what I'm saying? And you know, and these two here, you know, like Tenoch taught me so, in our first meeting, taught me so much just about ethnic relations in Mexico, you know. And I grew up in California, you know what I'm saying? So I'm you know, I feel like I knew a good chunk about it, but it was when you was breaking it down to me, it was mind-boggling. You know, like you didn't even tell me you was writing a book about it. You know, yeah. Found that out later. You know, but it was mind-boggling. Like it was like, oh yeah, this is the guy. You know what I'm saying? And then me and Alex just hit it off. You know, like immediately. And I think that he plays this warrior, who's juxtaposed with you know, like who's juxtaposed with Danai's character, and what I love was his warmth, you know, cause I you know, like I knew I played football coming up, and I know people who are in the military, you know what I mean, who are very, like some of the best football players and the best people who do these like very, very intense occupations, you know, they're more skilled when it comes from a place of love, you know, like Danai loves the continent. She'll talk to you for hours on end about, you know, like how the continent needs to be protected, how these young, that's in her, you know. So then when it's time for Okoye to throw down the spear and say, hey, you're not coming past this, I'm holding this down. As an audience, you believe it. So with Alex, it was the same. I'm like, man, this dude is just like, you know, you want to hug him, you know what I'm saying? Like when you talk to him, and we can talk about it. So I'm like, oh, what if this is the dude? What if like this is the guy holding the spear for Talokan, you know what I'm saying? And like it clicked, you know. It just totally clicked, and it's more to all of these folks than meets the eye, you know what I'm saying? And with Lupita, I think like, cause she was introduced to us, the film watching community through such that incredible role in that work you did with Steve. You know, it's very clear, like you know, and she was very brave. I watched her go through that awards campaign. I kind of had a front row seat because Mike and I were there, and I was like, man, this woman is like this incredible jewel that's like bearing her soul for everybody. like, you know, every day, like all these probing questions. It was a very probing role, you know. And then when I got to know her personally, you know what I mean, it made sense. I'm like, oh, this is like a generational talent. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is somebody who's gonna change things forever. It's gonna be before her and after her. You know what I'm saying? So the idea to link up with all these people, man, and it's a gift from my bro. Like bottom line, that's it. Cause I don't get this job if it's not for him. You know. I don't meet these people in this capacity if it's not for him, you know what I'm saying? And just like the international reach, like the multi-generational reach of it, you know what I'm saying? It's a true blessing. It's like the truest blessing, man. So like, you know, my job was to show up and watch and listen. You know what I mean? That was really what the vast majority of my job was.
Show them who we are.
Thank you all for joining us. This is Around the Table, and we encourage you all to go see Black Panther: Wakanda Forever in theaters.